Ladies and gentlemen, let me ask you something. Right now, as you sit here, are you living the life you truly deserve? Or are you stuck in the life you settled for? Let me tell you the truth, your life will never rise above the standards you set for yourself. Standards aren't wishes, they're not dreams or goals. Standards are the musts which you demand of yourself every single day. Think about it. If you want to change your life, it starts with one thing: raise your standards. You see, most people settle. They settle for average relationships, mediocre health, and just getting by careers. Why? Because it's comfortable. Because they've been conditioned to believe this is as good as it gets. That's a lie. And I'm here to help you rewrite that lie today. Here's the deal. If you want more, you must become more. If you want wealth, you must demand more from your financial habits. If you want love, you must demand more from your relationship with yourself and others. If you want health, you must demand more from your body and your choices. It's not rocket science, but it is hard work. Step one, stop settling. Where in your life have you been saying it's fine when deep down you know it's not? Stop lying to yourself. The moment you stop tolerating mediocrity, you create the space for greatness to show up. Step two, raise your internal thermostat. What do I mean by that? Picture your life as a thermostat. If your thermostat is set to 70 degrees, you'll always find a way to cool down when life gets too hot. You'll sabotage your success because your standards are set too low. Raise the thermostat to 90, 100 degrees and watch your life rise to meet it. Step three, align your habits with your standards. Dreaming big is not enough. Every action you take must reflect those higher standards. You can't say you want wealth while wasting time and money. You can't say you want health while skipping workouts and eating junk. Step four, surround yourself with excellence. Let's be honest, if your circle is filled with people who accept mediocrity, you'll stay stuck. Find people who challenge you, push you, and inspire you to level up. You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with, so choose wisely. Step 5, use pain and pleasure to drive change. The greatest motivator is not comfort, it's pain. Stop running from the pain of your current standards. Let it fuel you. Feel the pain of staying stuck and the pleasure of living your dream. When you use both, you become unstoppable. Your standards are the invisible blueprint of your life. They dictate what you'll tolerate, what you'll strive for, and ultimately what you'll achieve. Think about it. Every decision you make, every action you take, stems from what you believe you deserve. If you demand little of yourself, you'll settle for little. If you hold yourself to high standards, you'll naturally take actions that align with those expectations. It's not about wishing or hoping for more, it's about deciding what is non-negotiable for you. When you set a higher standard, your behavior shifts to match it. For example, if you decide that your health is a top priority, you won't skip workouts or reach for junk food when you're stressed. That's because you've set a standard where anything less is unacceptable. The reality is that your external world is a mirror of your internal standards. If your relationships lack depth, it might be because you've tolerated shallow connections. If your finances are stuck, it could be because you've settled for financial habits that don't serve you. To change your life, you must first change what you demand of yourself. This isn't about perfection. It's about making a commitment to raise the bar. Even if it's uncomfortable, high standards push you to grow, to stretch beyond what's easy or convenient. They force you to show up as the best version of yourself. And when you do that consistently, your reality begins to shift. The truth is, life doesn't give you what you want, it gives you what you work for. And the only way to work for something with conviction is to believe you're worthy of it. That belief starts with your standards. Settling for less is one of the most common ways people hold themselves back from achieving their true potential. When you settle, you're essentially telling yourself and the world that you're okay with less than what you truly desire or deserve. It's a quiet resignation, a choice to stay in your comfort zone rather than face the discomfort of growth and change. And while it might feel safe in the moment, it comes at a high cost. The cost of your dreams, your fulfillment, and your progress. Every time you settle for force and force a belief that less is all you're capable of or worthy of. It becomes a pattern, a mindset that dictates your actions and shapes your life. This doesn't just apply to one area, it seeps into everything. If you settle in your career, you may find yourself stuck in a job that doesn't challenge or excite you. If you settle in relationships, you might accept connections that lack respect, love, or growth. Settling isn't just about where you are today, it determines the trajectory of your future. The truth is, progress comes from dissatisfaction. It comes from looking at where you are and saying, this isn't enough for me. I want more, and I'm willing to do what it takes to get it. When you refuse to settle, you create momentum. You start making choices that align with your higher vision, even if they're difficult or require sacrifice. Settling is comfortable, but it's also stagnant. Progress requires discomfort. It requires stepping into the unknown, taking risks, and demanding more of yourself. It's about raising your standards and refusing to compromise on what truly matters. When you stop settling, you take back control of your life. You become architect of your future rather than a passive participant. Refusing to settle isn't easy, but it's worth it. It's about knowing your value, honoring your potential, and committing to a life that reflects the best version of yourself. Progress is only possible when you decide that staying the same is no longer an option. Your internal thermostat is a powerful metaphor for the standards you set in your life. It represents the level of success, happiness, and fulfillment you're comfortable with. Just like a thermostat regulates the temperature in a room, your internal thermostat regulates the outcomes you allow yourself to achieve. The problem is, most people have their thermostat set far too low. They unconsciously cap their potential, convincing themselves that they don't deserve more than what they currently have. When your internal thermostat is set low, even if opportunities for success or abundance come your way, you'll find a way to sabotage them. Why? Because you haven't conditioned yourself to operate at a higher level. You might dream of earning more, living healthier, building deeper relationships, but if your thermostat is stuck in survival mode, you'll always return to what feels familiar, even if it's unfulfilling. Raising your internal thermostat begins with a decision. It's deciding right here and now that you deserve more happiness, more success, more love. Not because someone else gives you permission, but because you are inherently worthy. When you believe you're worthy, your actions start to align with that belief. You no longer accept mediocrity because it doesn't match the identity of someone who knows they're meant for greatness. But this isn't just about positive thinking. Raising your internal thermostat requires consistent effort and action. It's about rewiring your mind to see yourself as someone who deserves the best. It means challenging your old limiting beliefs and replacing them with empowering ones. It means visualizing your goals, feeling the emotions of already having them, and acting as if they're already yours. When you do this, something remarkable happens. You start attracting the people, opportunities, and resources that match your higher standards. It's not magic, it's alignment. You've shifted your focus and energy toward a higher level of living, and the universe responds in kind. Remember, your thermostat isn't fixed. You can raise it as high as you're willing to believe. And once you do, you'll notice a profound change. You'll stop settling for good enough and start reaching for extraordinary. When you believe you deserve more, you give yourself permission to rise to levels you never thought possible. The only limit is the one you impose on yourself. Excellence is not a gift, it's a commitment. It's a choice you make every day to show up as your best self, no matter the circumstances. It means refusing to accept mediocrity or shortcuts, even when they seem easier in the moment. Excuses, on the other hand, are the enemy of progress. They are the stories we tell ourselves to justify we didn't follow through, why we didn't push harder, or why we didn't go all in. And while excuses might protect your ego temporarily, they destroy your potential in the long run. Success isn't about luck or talent, it's about relentless standards. It's about demanding the best from yourself in everything you do, no matter how small the task. Excellence means being disciplined, focused, and intentional. It's about understanding that how you do one thing is how you do everything. If you cut corners in one area, that mindset will seep into others. It's a level of integrity where you hold yourself accountable even when one is watching. The truth is, excuses will always be available. There will always be reasons why something is too hard, too risky, or too inconvenient. But the people who achieve extraordinary results are the ones who refuse to let excuses dictate their actions. They understand that every excuse is a step backward, while every act of excellence is a step closer to their goals. Committing to excellence means embracing discomfort. It's pushing through challenges, setbacks, and failures without losing sight of your vision. It means showing up even when you don't feel like it, because you know your results are directly tied to your standards, not your feelings. Excellence is about consistency. It's not what you do once in a while that matters, it's what you do repeatedly. This commitment also requires a mindset shift. Instead of focusing on why something won't work, you focus on how to make it work. Instead of blaming circumstances, you take ownership. Instead of waiting for the perfect moment, you create the moment. Excellence demands that you step into your power and take full responsibility for your outcomes. When you commit to excellence, you set a standard that elevates every aspect of your life. Your relationships improve because you bring your best self to them. Your career thrives because you deliver results that exceed expectations. Your confidence grows because you know you've earned every victory through effort and discipline. Excuses might offer temporary comfort, but they steal your future. Excellence, on the other hand, builds a legacy. It's not about perfection, it's about progress. It's about raising your standards so high that excuses no longer have a place in your life. Success demands this kind of relentless commitment. Once you embrace it, there's no limit to what you can achieve. Your habits are the foundation of your standards. They are the small, repetitive actions that determine the quality of your life. No matter how big your dreams or how high your standards might seem, it's your daily habits that bridge the gap between where you are and where you want to be. Habits are not just routines, they're expressions of your commitment to excellence, discipline, and growth. If your habits are aligned with mediocrity, your results will reflect that. For example, if you consistently hit snooze, procrastinate, or avoid challenges, those habits a standard of good enough. On the other hand, if your habits reflect effort, focus, and intentionality, you're setting a standard of excellence. Your habits shape your identity, and over time they become the evidence of who you are and what you stand for. Transformation begins with small, consistent changes to your daily behavior. It's not about making massive leaps overnight. It's about making the choice day after day to show up and do the work. When you raise the quality of your habits, even by a small percentage, the cumulative effect over weeks, months, and years is extraordinary. The key is to audit your current habits and ask yourself, are these habits leading me closer to my goals? Or are they holding me back? Every habit either reinforces your standards or weakens them. For instance, reading for 20 minutes a day can elevate your knowledge, while spending hours scrolling through social media can drain your energy and focus. The power lies in recognizing which habits serve you and which need to be replaced. Consistency is everything. It's not about perfection, it's about persistence. Habit because they remove decision-making from the equation. When something becomes habitual, it's automatic. There's no internal debate or resistance. That's why building empowering habits is so critical. They ensure that you're moving toward your goals, even on days when motivation is low. Your habits also influence the people and environment around you. High standard habits inspire others and attract opportunities. When you hold yourself to a higher standard, the world responds by offering you more. But this also requires discipline, the ability to stick to your habits, even when progress feels slow or results aren't immediately visible. Ultimately, raising your daily habits is an act of self-respect. It's about valuing your time, energy, and potential enough to invest in actions that move you forward. It's about committing to the long game, knowing that small, intentional actions done consistently will lead to massive transformation. Change your habits and you change your standards. Change your standards and you change your life. Limiting beliefs are like invisible chains that keep you anchored to a version of life that's far smaller than what you're capable of living. These beliefs are the stories you've been telling yourself sometimes for years about who you are, what you can do, and what you deserve. The problem is most of these stories aren't even true. They're often based on past experiences, fears, or other people's opinions, but over time you've internalized them as facts. Every limiting belief starts with a thought, a seed planted in your mind. Maybe someone told you that you weren't smart enough, strong enough, or talented enough. Maybe you failed at something once, and instead of seeing it as a learning experience, you decided it was proof that you're not capable. Whatever the origin, these beliefs act as filters, distorting how you see the world and how you see yourself. The real danger of limiting beliefs is how subtly they operate. They shape your choices without you even realizing it. They convince you to play small, avoid risks, and settle for less. They whisper, don't even try, you'll just fail. Or people like you don't succeed at that. And because your actions are based on these beliefs, they become self-fulfilling prophecies. You don't take the leap, so you never see what's possible. Breaking free from limiting beliefs requires awareness. You have to identify the stories that are holding you back and challenge their validity. Ask yourself, is this really true? Or is it just something I've chosen to believe? Often, when you examine these beliefs, you'll realize they have no solid foundation. They're just thoughts you've repeated so many times that they've become your reality. Once you recognize these beliefs for what they are, mental constructs, not facts, you can start replacing them. This isn't about ignoring reality or pretending challenges don't exist. It's about reframing your mindset to empower you rather than hold you back. Instead of saying, I can't do this, shift to I'm learning how to do this. Instead of believing I always fail, tell yourself every failure is a step closer to success. Breaking free also requires action. The best way to disprove a limiting belief is to take a step toward what you thought was impossible. Even a small win can shatter the illusion of limitation. Each time you act in spite of fear or doubt, you weaken the grip of those old stories. Surround yourself with people who challenge and inspire you rather than reinforce your limitations. Seek out examples of others who've overcome similar beliefs and achieved greatness. Their stories can serve as proof that you too are capable of more than you've imagined. Remember, your beliefs are not set in stone. They can evolve as you grow and change. The only thing keeping you tied to your old beliefs is your willingness to hold on to them. Let them go, and you'll unlock the freedom to create a new story, one where you're not defined by your past, but by the limitless potential of your future. Your vision is the ultimate destination of the life you want to create, but your standards are the vehicle that gets you there. If your standards and actions aren't aligned with your vision, your dreams will remain just that, dreams. Many people set grand visions for their lives, but they fail to follow through with the daily decisions and behaviors that are necessary to make those visions a reality. This disconnect is often the difference between success and frustration. Every vision requires a certain level of commitment, discipline, and effort. If you dream of financial freedom but maintain habits of overspending and inconsistency, your standards are out of alignment. If you envision vibrant health but tolerate habits like skipping exercise or eating poorly, your actions contradict your desired outcome. To bring your vision to life, you must ensure that your standards reflect the level of excellence your goals demand. Alignment means living every day as if your vision is already your reality. It means asking yourself, are my actions today moving me closer to my dreams or further away? This doesn't mean perfection, it means intentionality. It's about consistently choosing behaviors that match the person you want to become and the life you want to create. The key to alignment is clarity. You must have a clear, detailed vision of what you want to achieve and who you want to become. Without clarity, it's easy to drift into habits that feel comfortable but don't serve your higher purpose. When you know exactly where you're going, you can raise your standards to match the path that will take you there. Alignment also requires honesty. You have to be willing to evaluate where you're falling short and where you're settling for less. This isn't about beating yourself up, it's about taking responsibility. Change begins when you acknowledge the gap between your current standards and the standards your vision requires. Matching your actions to your dreams isn't about making huge leaps overnight, it's about the small, consistent choices that add up over time. It's choosing discipline over distraction, focus over excuses, and persistence over giving up. It's about raising your standards in the areas that matter most, your habits, your relationships, your mindset, so they align with the future you want to create. When your standards and vision are aligned, you create momentum. Your actions begin to feel purposeful and fulfilling because they're directly tied to your deepest aspirations. You stop feeling like you're stuck or spinning your wheels, and instead you experience progress and growth. Ultimately, aligning your standards with your vision is an act of self-respect. It's about honoring your dreams enough to back them up with the level of effort and commitment they deserve. When you match your actions to your dreams, you're no longer just wishing for a better life, you're actively creating it. The people you surround yourself with have a profound impact on your life. Your environment shapes your mindset, your habits, and your standards. If you're constantly around people who settle for less, make excuses, or avoid growth, it becomes easier for you to adopt those same behaviors. But when you surround yourself with high-standard individuals, people who push themselves, who strive for excellence, and who refuse to settle, you naturally rise to their level. Humans are social creatures, and we're deeply influenced by the energy and expectations of those around us. If you're in a group where mediocrity is the norm, it's incredibly difficult to break free and aim higher. The reverse is also true. When you're surrounded by people who demand more from themselves, it inspires you to do the same. Their actions, attitudes, and mindset become a mirror, reflecting what's possible for you as well. High-standard people challenge you to grow. They hold you accountable not just for your goals, but for the standards you've set for yourself. They don't let you make excuses or settle for half measures. They encourage you to dream bigger and to take the necessary steps to turn those dreams into reality. Being in their presence reminds you of your own potential and shows you what's possible when you commit fully. These individuals also provide valuable insights and perspectives. They've often faced challenges and overcome obstacles, and their experiences can guide you through your own journey. They're not just supporters, they're examples of what happens when you live with purpose and discipline. Their wisdom becomes a resource for you helping you navigate setbacks and stay focused on your goals. But it's not just about learning from them, it's about contributing to this kind of environment. High standard relationships are built on mutual respect and shared values. When you bring your best self to the table, you reinforce a culture of growth and excellence. You become a source of inspiration and accountability for others, creating a cycle of mutual empowerment. This doesn't mean cutting people out of your life entirely if they don't share your standards. It means being intentional about who you spend the majority of your time with. Prioritize relationships that elevate you and reduce the time spent in environments that pull you down. Your environment either supports your growth or hinders it. Choose to build one that pushes you to become your best self. Surround yourself with people who challenge you to aim higher, who celebrate your progress, and who inspire you to live up to your potential. When you do, you'll find that your own standards naturally rise, and with them, the quality of your life transforms. Pain and pleasure are the two most powerful forces driving human behavior. Every decision you make, every action you take, is rooted in the desire to avoid pain or gain pleasure. The problem is most people let these forces control them unconsciously, allowing short-term emotions to dictate their choices. But when you learn to consciously leverage pain and pleasure, you gain the ability to take control of your life and achieve your highest goals. Pain is a powerful motivator when used correctly. It can push you to change, to act, and to grow. Think about it, many of the greatest transformations in life happen not when things are comfortable, but when they become unbearable. When you've had enough of being stuck, feeling unfulfilled, or settling for less. The pain becomes a driving force that pushes you to take action. The key is to stop avoiding pain and start using it. Ask yourself, what will it cost me if I don't change? Visualize the consequences of staying where you are. Imagine the regret, the missed opportunities, and the impact on your relationships, health, or finances. When you make the pain of inaction greater than the discomfort of change, you'll find the strength to move forward. Pleasure, on the other hand, is what pulls you toward your vision. It's the promise of what's possible when you commit to your goals and raise your standards. Pleasure gives you something to strive for, something to look forward to. It's the emotional reward that fuels your persistence and keeps you motivated when the journey gets tough. To leverage pleasure, get crystal clear on your vision. What will your life look like when you achieve your goals? How will it feel? Picture the freedom, the confidence, and the sense of accomplishment you'll experience. Make this vision so vivid and compelling that it becomes impossible to ignore. When the pull of your desired future is strong enough, it will override any temptation to give up or settle. The real power comes from combining pain and pleasure. Use pain to push you away from what you don't want, and pleasure to pull you toward what you do want. For example, if you want to get in shape, focus on the pain of staying unhealthy, the low energy, the health risks, the missed opportunities. At the same time, focus on the pleasure of being fit, the confidence, the vitality, and the ability to enjoy life fully. This dual approach creates a powerful drive to take action. But this requires consistency and intentionality. You must constantly remind yourself of the pain of staying the same and the pleasure of transformation. It's easy to forget these motivations in the day-to-day grind, so make it a habit to reconnect with them. Write them down, visualize them, or speak them out loud. Pain and pleasure are not your enemies, they're tools. When you learn to harness them, they become your greatest allies in the pursuit of a better life. Instead of being controlled by them, you take control, using them to propel you toward your dreams. Raising your standards is not a one-time event or a temporary burst of effort. It's a lifelong commitment that requires consistency and dedication. It's easy to make big promises or set high expectations when you're motivated or inspired, but real progress comes from showing up every day, no matter how you feel or what obstacles arise. The difference between those who achieve extraordinary results and those who don't is often consistency. When you commit to raising your standards, you're committing to an ongoing process of growth and improvement. This means that every day is an opportunity to live according to the standards you've set, to make choices that align with your higher vision, and to continue pushing forward even when the initial excitement fades. The truth is, the path to success isn't linear. It's filled with ups and downs, challenges, and setbacks. But if you're consistent, even on the tough days, you'll create momentum that will carry you through the inevitable obstacles. Consistency doesn't mean perfection. It means showing up regularly and making progress, even if that progress feels small. It's about trusting the process, understanding that incremental improvements compound over time. Every effort you put in, no matter how small, adds up to something greater. Small, consistent actions lead to massive long-term results. Building consistency requires discipline and a strong sense of purpose. It's about aligning your daily habits with your highest aspirations and holding yourself accountable, even when it feels easier to fall back into old patterns. The key to consistency is not waiting for motivation to strike, but making the decision to take action anyway. Motivation comes and goes, but discipline and commitment are what keep you going when motivation wanes. As you continue to raise your standards, you'll encounter moments where it feels easier to slip back into familiar habits. This is when the real work begins. It's in these moments that your commitment to consistency will either strengthen or weaken. But if you hold your ground, if you remain steadfast and continue to align your actions with your higher standards, you'll transform not just your results, but who you are at your core. Consistency is also about creating systems and structures that support your new standards. It's about setting yourself up for success by developing routines that reinforce the behaviors and mindsets you want to embody. These systems help you stay on track when life gets busy or distractions arise. Ultimately, raising your standards isn't about making dramatic changes overnight. It's about making a long-term commitment to continuous improvement. It's about showing up every day, even when it's difficult, and trusting that the effort you put in now will pay off in the future. By staying consistent, you turn your vision into reality, one small, powerful step at a time. Now, here's the kicker. None of this matters if you don't stay consistent. Raising your standards is not a one-time event. It's a daily decision. It's waking up every morning and saying, I will not settle today. Let me close with this. The only thing standing between you and the life you want is the story you've been telling yourself about what you deserve. Rewrite the story. Demand more. Raise your standards and you can achieve anything. So what will it be? Will you settle for what's easy? Or will you step into the greatness waiting for you? The choice is yours. Now go out there, raise your standards, and claim the life you were meant to live.